my rural internet. Still using HughesNet. Got the dish pretty well flattened out. Looks close to optimal. It's not quite as a new skin would be. I'm not going to invest in a new skin at this point though. I would have had to get on the horn and cancel. Probably today is my last day or day before. Anyway, I'll pay for that another month, so I'll have both for another month. The Hughes is actually faster than what I can get off the cell network at this point. I'm on the fringe of T-Mobile's zone, so I'm not getting their ultimate. I had originally, where the security light is where I had this thing stationed, and I was only getting single digits megabytes, 2 or 3 megabytes. Now I'm getting a little better up there. Sometimes I do in the 20s even, but usually lately I'm in the single digits again. I don't know what the deal is. I'm paying a lot for Hughes, almost $100, because I'm not on a contract. And I've been going month to month for quite a while. I probably could have been on a second contract by now, be mostly done with it. At any rate, it's a lot of money. Not that far from Starlink, really. So it's definitely not that good an option. The speed is decent, but it still has choke points in the evenings on popular nights like Friday and Saturday night. It still chokes down. It's a little better with the new satellite that they put up, but it still seems to have some issues. Chokes sometimes. The real problem is the latency. It's got a delay of almost a second sometimes. 2/3 a second to a full second is your typical delay range. And that's just a real hassle sometimes. Especially with YouTube putting 5-second delays in for Firefox users. You add that extra second on to that 5 seconds that YouTube's already throwing at you, and Firefox, it gets really sluggish. So I sent for the router, the outdoor router they call it. It's actually an outdoor modem with a built-in router, I suppose, wireless router. So I sent for each the same day. The Mint Mobile cards came real quickly, a couple days. I had the cards, and I was waiting anxiously for the router to show up. Apparently it comes from Europe or somewhere. I'm not really exactly sure where. And you can see it got opened and resealed by the customs. So they slashed the thing open pretty rudely. They didn't bother unwrapping it and opening it properly. They just cut into it. They probably know what's in here, so they just cut them all open the same way. I don't know if they bothered to open the little box or not. But that was kind of rude. There's a couple of these little plastic washers. I got dust and hair in here now. That were laying around different places, and part of the bracket was askew, was in different parts of the packaging. So it was kind of slapped back together real quick. But I got it all together. Everything was there, I suppose. A little mingled, but not critically. My biggest problem was with the SIM card. I went by the little picture they gave, and it wasn't exactly the same inside. And I also kind of thought this was from the bottom, without really looking. So when I figured out the SIM cards, I actually had them backwards for 1 and 2. And I put my freebie card from Mint into number 1 and the card with the minutes on it on number 2. And I didn't know it. I thought it was the other way around. So it didn't work. I was in Firewall. I was in their little deal for that other card. At any rate, I eventually figured out what my problem was and got the right card in the right slot. Get the other card out of the other slot, I guess. Didn't do me any good anyway. So yeah, the picture wasn't identical to what really was in there. It kind of made me jump to the wrong conclusion. Plus, the SIM card holders were kind of fiddly. I guess they work when they work. It's just figuring them out for the first time. It would have been kind of nice if they would have put a blank SIM card in one of them, even just a piece of plastic. I don't know. It was a little bit strange, but I eventually got it figured out. Took a little time and frustration, though. So I've got to fix this up a little bit. My clamp needs to be a little closer to the top there, a little to the right, where it is. And I'm going to raise the modem just an inch or two, because it'll be closer to the crest of the roof there. I'll raise it just a couple inches higher. The rest of that post above there, an empty blank, this is all PVC post too, it's non-conductive. The rest of that PVC post above there will be for antennas. I'm probably going to buy antennas for that thing. If it's working well enough to be my full-time internet, then I'll probably buy a set of 3 antennas for it. I really would like to find some good information on that. And doesn't it matter which antenna goes to which input? Are they all the same, basically? I probably want to get like one dipole on top, not a dipole, but a little Yagi on top, and then the two log periodics that are in little plastic cases, a little below them. What I'm thinking of getting right now, because the Yagi comes with a little bit of cable, so they can go way on top. The other two come with real short little cables. They plug right in. Probably put one horizontal, one vertical. But I don't know. I'm just going by my seat of my pants on that. I'd like to find some good information on how to set that stuff up better. So Mint has sent me a card prepaid for $45. I get 3 months of unlimited data, in quotes. And after that, it's going to be $40 a month for the unlimited data package. Unlimited data is really only 40 gigabytes. After that, they throttle you way down. I don't know how severely they throttle you down. My experience with wireless before is when they throttle you, they really throttle you. But that's something I've yet to see. The upload speed was a concern because I was struggling to see one solid megabyte up. I was struggling to see internet speeds that were tolerable on this cellular internet compared to HughesNet, which is tolerable. It doesn't take all day on Hughes. You get a good 2 meg usually, where I'm lucky to see 1 meg on this cellular deal. But if I can get a solid 1 meg, I'm good. I can deal with that. But preferably I'll get better. With antennas, I'll do quite a bit better, I hope. I was hoping to get a solid 5G link, and then I could get my friend in the big city who's with Verizon, gets like 250 speed-wise. That's very comparable to cable. He gets about pretty comparable. He was getting like a 70. His delay wasn't as much as was more than I thought it would be. But at any rate, he's getting a good high speed, and he's getting it for roughly $50 through Verizon. The thing is, I can't get Verizon. I'm on a Verizon list up here. I've been on a waiting list for Verizon for a couple of years. Verizon won't let their network get stressed, whereas T-Mobile will let it slow down. I'm actually more local. I got a closer connection to Verizon, but they won't oversell it, so I got to wait on the waiting list. It's already been, a couple of years, I believe, maybe more. AT&T's got some funky options. I don't know if I really want to try to deal with AT&T, although that is another option. I probably would do a little better than T-Mobile for speed if I was using AT&T. I'm hoping to eventually get on Verizon. Starlink is still an option. They actually have a $100 deposit of mine for a couple of years now. They never did give me a final okay to order it. They gave me an as-is okay about a year ago. And I know even now if I ordered them I could get a discount. There's a used equipment sale going on, but still paying that $120 almost for sure. They even expanded the number of people who are paying the $120, which is already almost everybody. That's a lot of money. I can afford it. If it actually worked and I didn't have to cut down a few trees, then I'd probably do it. But it looks like I'll have to cut down some trees to make this work, at least according to their app. So I paid $509 for that modem router, and for not getting 5G, I could have paid less than half of that and gotten a pretty similar unit. Actually, for about $280, I could have gotten a very similar unit. And then for less than $200 or around $200, I can get a cheapy unit, kind of a plasticky thing. And there's a couple of bucket modems too. Most of those are 5G though, and they're in the price range of this thing. So I could have gotten a cheaper modem, but only 4G capable. That's all. I wouldn't be wasting that extra capability. It's kind of nice to have in case I ever am able to get in Verizon. I'll be able to swing it around and pick up Verizon. I'm hoping I can pick up 5G with external antennas too. I should really be on the edge of their 5G. I looked on their map and all, I should be right on the edge of it. It would really speed things up.